What's up, everybody? This is Colby Cheese. I'm going to be playing a game I just picked up. This is a new indie game that got green-lighted on Steam. It's called Towns, and I've been playing it for a couple of hours, for about a day or two, I guess, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to go through and do a playthrough, kind of a walkthrough style, because there is not much help to this game, or really even any direction on what you're supposed to do or how to do it. So I thought this would be a good opportunity for me to actually show you guys how to play the game very well, and that way you guys can get started and have some fun. And I really enjoy this game. It's pretty addicting. So let's go ahead and jump into it, and I'm going to go through and start a map. And I've been playing on the jungle, and I think that it has a hard start to it because there's a lot of monsters in the beginning that you have to deal with, but you get banana trees, which are really nice. However, I'm going to go ahead and start with a normal map so that you guys can kind of see what to do on maps that don't have bananas and stuff like that. And that should be a pretty good start for our playthrough of Towns today. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one. Let's see. I'm not sure I care if it rewrites the old one. Unfortunately, you can't really have different save files for the same map style, so I couldn't make like 3 jungle maps or anything like that. That's a little bit unfortunate. All right, so here we go. I'm starting off in Towns, and you just start off with these various different little guys here. You start off with 11 villagers on every playthrough that you go on, and all of your stuff that you can do is on these menus right here, and I'll go ahead and click them so that there's this little green icon here, and that gives you the ability to just have them always up, and I like it that way personally. So when you get started in Towns, you need to go ahead and clear out a few things and get yourself an area to start with. And you may even want to do a few different seeds. Make sure that you actually like the area that you're starting with. You want to have enough flat area and possibly even some mines around close by. That way you can get yourself started right away. One of the most important things as you get started right off the bat is going to be able to mine some gravel so that you can get flint in order to cook food, because if you don't have that, then you're going to have to rely on baking, which sucks. And so it looks like we have an okay amount of gravel, hopefully enough to be able to find myself at least one piece of flint, and that'll get us started until I'm able to find iron. But what I'm going to do here is chop down a few trees, and the one thing that sucks about chopping down trees is that in the normal map here, sometimes you'll find these tree keepers, they're called, and they're basically trees that fight back, and that tends to suck a little bit, but shouldn't be too big of an issue, especially once you start getting gear on your characters. Alright, so what I've done is this is the menu that you can use to do some different actions like chopping things down and harvesting. You can also like right click a tree and chop it down that way. I'm going to go ahead and harvest a few pieces of wild wheat, because here in a little bit we're going to start doing some baking, and I'll need that to do that. And then I need to grab a few pieces of stone, so I'm going to click the mine, and I'm just going to drag right over there on the stone, and that'll mine a few pieces of stone for me. Now the first things that you want to do is you want to go over here to the utilities, and I'm going to go ahead and set up a carpentering area. And I'm going to go ahead and probably eventually I'll clear out these mountain areas, and I'll use them as my actual town area or something like that. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and set up a temporary settlement here. So I'm not going to worry about like the way everything looks just yet, because I need to just get started first. So first you need to set up a zone. So I'm going to click on zones here, and carpentry and masonry are going to be the first things. You need to make it at least 3 by 3. To get started. I'm just going to go ahead and drag a little bit larger there. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my masonry and carpentry areas, and then you need to start with a carpenter's bench. So I'll just set that somewhere inside the carpentry area. And what your villagers will do is they'll go ahead and grab themselves some wood. So Mr. Edmund de Berkeley, he's going to grab me a carpenter bench, and then I'll set up my wood detailer. That'll get me started on that one. I guess while they're building that stuff. Ooh, what is going on in here? Oh, by the way, you have some combat messages up here, so you can see if people are dying and stuff like that. You'd be like, oh, chicken died. Where's that at? Oh, it looks like a chicken ran into a carnivorous plant and got eaten. So you can kind of see that whenever your people actually died and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and, by the way, you can go up and down levels. by using the mouse scroll wheel. So you'll see this little unknown area right here is actually unknown because it's higher up. So if I scroll up, you'll see it's a mountain. All right. And so I'm going to go back down to level 1. But anyways, in order to mine stuff that's like right under the surface, you just have to scroll down. So I'm at level 0 here. Now I can mine this. And I'm not going to mine the stuff that's right next to the river because it'll actually flood it out and my guys will drown. And I don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to mine these few pieces of gravel. And hopefully I can get myself something useful out of it. That is the plan anyways. And I can even come around here and mine these few pieces as well if I need to. So eventually I will find a piece of flint and I will be a happy camper. The idea is to find some flints in order to do some cooking. And I think, let's take a look at the food. So the way food works is that there are a few things that will give you more fill than others. So you'll notice the omelet here is 90%. That's decent. Baked bananas, which I won't be able to get to on this map unless I go all the way up to a jungle area and, you know, plant some banana trees in the jungle and then do that. And I don't even know if there's even, yeah, there's a tiny amount of jungle here on this map, and it's not really enough to make a giant banana farm. So you'll notice there's a bunch of froggies. If you start a jungle map, these guys are all over the place, and you have to literally hunt them. You have to hunt them down. You have to start your villagers as soldiers. And anyways, a lot of complicated stuff for new players. But anyways, so I want to go. What my plan is to do is to go for the most filling type of meal, and in this case, it's going to be ham and eggs. So in order to do that, I need eggs and raw pork. So I'm going to need to set up chicken farms and pig farms in order to acquire those particular things. So I'll work on that later. I can even start with just omelets to begin with, and then I can work on ham and eggs later on once I get built up a little bit more. But for now, let's see, I've got my carpentry and my masonry set up. And I'm going to need some form of food to begin with. So hopefully I found some flint. I'm not sure if I did or not, but let's go ahead and start a cooking fire and find out if we did or not. So I'm going to create a cooking fire, and what will happen is if I do have some flint somewhere from one of those pieces of gravel, then they'll run and grab it, and then they'll set up that cooking fire. And in order to keep a cooking fire going, what you have to do is you have to actually go back to this menu right here and go to Utilities, and you have to do Renew Fire, and you'll see these little plus and minus signs. Everything that is on the left side is going to be like you queue up and it'll create that many of those. And then on the right side, it'll automatically create at least that many. So if I'm going to create one cooking fire, I need to renew it at least one time, always. Otherwise, that thing will burn out and I'll have to go get new flint, which I don't want to have to do that. If you renew it, it just takes wood, and wood is very easily acquirable, I guess you could say. Alrighty then. Ooh, what is happening here? Chicken dies. All right, so sometimes you hear stuff die because they're walking into those carnivorous plants, which is kind of annoying because that's the sound sometimes that means my people are fighting things, and I don't like that. I don't like it. It scares me quite bad. All right, so we're going to need a kitchen in order to actually do some cooking and stuff. So let's go ahead and run over to our zones area, and I'm going to build myself a kitchen. And this way I can start cooking some stuff. And I need to set up my kitchen table and a butcher's table as well. And that way I can start butchering some things. So if I want to kill this bull, for example, I can just right click on him, kill bull, and they should give me some kind of meat. Kill cow. All right, so I killed the cow, and I can go over here to my food. And by the way, this is the stuff that you click on. This left menu is stuff for your villagers to actually start doing things or creating things, okay? And so I'm going to go ahead and go to cooking, and we're going to set up meat, and I should have some raw steak, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do 3 cooked steaks. And that's going to have them go pick up those steaks that I just butchered. and they're going to take it over to the kitchen, and they're going to take it over to the fire, and they'll cook some steaks. And that's some good starting food for now. And I can also create a dining hall, which is going to be an area for your villagers to sit there and eat at. So where is that sucker at? Dining room. I will just put that right next to the kitchen here. And now they can eat some food. Good stuff. So they'll take that food to the dining room whenever they're hungry, and they'll eat it there. All right, so now that I've got just a few starter places set up, I can go ahead and begin planning my actual town out. And I need to decide how I want to set it up. I can either create some kind of fortress with multiple layers and stuff like that for people to live in, or I can create multiple areas. I think my main thing I need to do is decide on, you need large amounts of area for your food production areas. So I'm going to need to build a giant pen, I guess, or a bunch of cages for my chickens and for my pigs. That way I can start to create these omelets and whatnot. And I think what I'll do is create all the pens in the very back area, and then I'll create the town in front of those pens and stuff like that. So I think this particular area right here would be good. And cool thing about these carnivorous plants is you can actually just destroy them. So I'm going to right click on them and click destroy, and that'll get rid of them so that my villagers don't run into them and die. Oops, I don't want to gather that. Destroy that. Okay, so what I need to do is clear out this area. So I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to chop these trees down. And eventually you'll create tree farms as well, and I'll show you how to do that here in just a sec. Okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and clear out this area. Basically just going to mine it all out, chop it down, and make it all flat, ready to go. And then what will have happen is I'll start to plan out my food production area for all of my townies. And we'll start working on food production. That's really the thing you need to get underway first, is a stable food production. And that way you can start building your citizens. And I'll teach you, and that's what you want to start doing. So food production and building up your townies to where you have a large amount of townies. And that way, once you have a large amount of townies, you can get a lot of work done quickly. And so I'm going to go ahead and let these guys get this stuff cleared out, and we'll meet it back up for the next episode. So now you guys have a good idea of how to get started. It's very simple once you get it down, but until you actually go and look up, what the hell am I supposed to do when I get started? It took me a while. So I'm going to get you guys going on the fast track on building a really cool town and help you avoid some of the pitfalls. So hopefully you enjoy this, and we're going to get started and get some heroes coming to our town. We're going to start fighting some goblins down into the dungeons and lots of really fun stuff. So stick around for that, and I'll show you what's coming soon. So by the way, thanks for checking out my channel, as it is a new channel. If you want to see more of that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, since it is a new channel, and you'll be able to see those when they come out. Thanks, you guys. Peace out.